A good play needs no prologue. I am not now furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg will not become me. My way, then, is to conjure you, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as pleases you. And I charge you, men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by your simpering none of you hates them, that between you and the women the play may please. The time, the present, the place, any town, a theatre.
As I remember, Adam, my father bequeathed me by will but poor 1,000 crowns, and as thou sayest, charged my brother to breed me well. And there begins my sadness. My brother Jack, he keeps at school, and report speaks goldenly of his profit. For my part, he stays me here, at home, unkept. And I, his brother, gain nothing under him but growth, for the which his animals on his dunghills are as much bound to him as I am. His countenance seems to take from me. It bars from me the place of a brother. This is it, Adam, that grieves me. And the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude. I will no longer endure it. Oliver!
Now, sir, what make you here?
Nothing. I'm not taught to make anything.
Know you where you are, sir.
Oh, sir, very well.
Know you before whom, sir?
I, better than him I am before, knows me. I know you are my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood you should so know me. The courtesy of nations allows you my better, in that you are firstborn. But were there 20 brothers betwixt us, I have as much of my father in me as you.
What, boy?
Come, elder brother, you are too young in this. Ow! Belly hands on me, villain! I ain't no villain! I am the youngest son of Sir Roland de Bois. He was my father. Wert thou not my brother, I would not take this hand from thy throat till this other had pulled out thy tongue for saying so.
Sweet masters, be patient. For your father's remembrance, be in accord.
Let me go, I say!
My father charged you in his will to give me good education. You have trained me like a peasant, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, give me the poor allotment my father left me by testament. With that, I will find my fortune.
And what wilt thou do? Beg when that is spent. Will not long be troubled with you. You'll have some part of your will.
Orlando!
Get you with him, you old dog!
Oh, his old dog, my reward! Most true. I have lost my teeth in your service. God be with my old master. He would not have spoke such a word.
Charles.
Good morrow to your worship.
Good Monsieur Charles, you wrestled tonight before the new Duke?
Very do I. I'm given, sir, secretly, to understand that your younger brother Orlando hath the disposition to come against me. I wrestle for my credit, and him that shall escape me without some broken limb shall quit him well.
I tell thee, Charles.
He is the stubbornest young fellow, full of ambition, secret, and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother.
Therefore, use thy discretion. I would as lief thou didst break his neck as his finger. He will practice against thee by poison. He will entrap thee by some treacherous device, and there leave thee till he hath taken thy life.
I am heartily glad you came hither to me. I'll give him his payment, and may God keep your worship.
Now, I hope I will see an end to my brother. For my soul hates nothing more than he. Yet he's gentle. Never schooled and yet learned, so much in the hearts of my own people that I am altogether misprized. But it shall not be long. This wrestler shall clear all.
pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my cuz, be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of, unless you can teach me to forget a banished father.
You know my father hath no child but I, and truly when he dies thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken away from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honour I will, and when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rosalind, my dear Rosalind, be merry.
What shall be our sport then?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honor, but I was but to come for you.
Monsieur Legault, what's the news?
Fair princesses, you have lost much good sport. I've come to tell you of good wrestling which you have lost the sight of.
Tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning if it pleases your ladyships. You may see the end. There came an old man and his 3 sons. The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him and broke 3 of his ribs, that there is little hope of life left in him. So he served the 2nd, and so the 3rd. Yonder they lie, the poor old man, their father, making such pitiful dole over them that all the beholders take his part with weeping.
Alas.
But what is the sport, monsieur, that the ladies have lost? It's the first I ever heard that breaking of ribs was sport for ladies.
Or I promise thee.
Shall we see this wrestling, cousin? Challenge Charles, the wrestler.
No, fair princess. He is the general challenger. I come to try within the strength of my youth.
Your spirits are too bold for your years. We pray you to give over this attempt. Your reputation shall not therefore be misprized. We will make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling might not go forward.
Punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent a lady anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial.
If I be killed, there is but one dead that is willing to be so. I do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me. The world no injury, for in it I am nothing. Only in the world I fill up a place, which may be better when I have made it empty.
Orlando.
Come! Where's this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his mother earth?
Ready!
You shall try but one fall.
No, I warrant your grace, you shall not entreat him to a second.
You should not have mocked me.
Watch your hands!
Shake it off. Back in there.
Come on!
Hear him?
I'm not yet well breathed!
Dost thou, Charles? Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys.
And would thou had been son to some man else? The world esteemed your father honorable, but I did find him still mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with this deed, hadst thou descended from another house.
I'm more proud to be Sir Roland's son. I would not change that calling to be adopted heir to you.
My father loved Sir Roland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind. Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of suits with fortune that would give more, but that her hand lacks means.
Can I not say thank you?
Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies. Fare you well.
Well, what passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference.
I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have deserved high commendation, true applause, and love.
I thank you well, and pray you tell me this. Which of the two was daughter to the Duke?
Neither his daughter, if we judge by manners, but Yet indeed the shorter is his daughter, the other is daughter to the banished Duke Senior, and here detained by the usurping Duke Frederick. But I can tell you this Duke now hath tamed his pleasure against his gentle niece, grounded upon no other argument but that the people praise her for her virtues, and pity her for her good father's sake, and on my life, his malice against the gentle lady will suddenly break forth. Sir, fare you well.
Fare you well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smother, from tyrant duke unto a tyrant brother. But heavenly Rosalind.
My cousin! Rosalind! Cupid have mercy, not a word.
Not one to throw at a dog.
But is all this for your father?
No, some of it is for my child's father.
Let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible, on such a sudden, you should fall into so strong a liking with Orlando? Old Sir Rowland's youngest son.
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Oh.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin. Within these 10 days, if thou beest found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace, let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me.
Let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor.
You are your father's daughter. There's enough.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
She is too subtle for thee, and her smoothness, her very sense, and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt seem more bright and show more virtuous when she is gone. Open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom, which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool. And niece, provide yourself. If you outstay the time, upon mine honor and in the greatness of my word, you die.
My poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin. Prithee, be cheerful. Knowest thou not, the Duke hath banished me, his daughter.
That he hath not.
No, hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love which teacheth me that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No. Let my father seek another heir. Therefore devise with me how we may fly, whither to go, and what to bear with us. Say what thou canst, I'll go along with thee.
Whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle, your father in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will it be to us maids as we are to travel forth so far?
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like do you? So shall we pass along and never stir assailants?
Were it not better, because that I am more than common tall, that I did suit me all points like a man.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
Look, you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
What if we essay to steal away the touchstone-ish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to us in our trial?
He'll go along o'er the wide world with me. Let us go to woo him.
Orlando!
Oh, I'm happy you. No! Come not within these doors.
Your brother, this night, means to burn the lodging where you lie and you within it, and if he fail of that, he will have other means to cut you off. This house is but a butchery. Abhor it. Fear it. Do not enter it.
Whither, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whether, so you come not here.
What? Wouldst thou have me go and beg my food? Or with a base and boisterous sword enforce a thievish living on the common road?
I have 500 crowns. The thrifty hire I saved under your father there. There's the gold. No. All this I give you. Take it. Take it. Ow! Let me be your servant. No, though I look old yet, I'm strong and lusty. Please let me go with you. I will do the service of a younger man in all your business and necessities.
Oh, good old man! How well in thee appears the constant service of that antique world, when servants sweat for duty, not for reward. But come thy ways, we'll go along together.
Oh, master. Master, go on. Go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty.
What am I doing here? Can it be possible that no man saw them? It must be some villains of my court are of consent and sufferance in it.
I cannot hear of any that did see her. The ladies, her attendants of her chamber, saw her abed, and in the morning early they found the bed untreasured of their mistress.
Touchstone. He is also missing. I secretly overheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler Orlando. Did but lately foil the sinewy Charles, and I believe that wherever they are, the youth is most surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. I'll make him find him. Do this suddenly. And let not search and inquisition fail to bring again these foolish runaways!
anywhere?
What's the news? Mom, is that the man? Yes, you will be the man.
What? Sarah!
Where were you?
You're okay.
Are you okay?
I got away. I'm fine.
From 17 years till now almost 80, here lived I, but now live here no more. At 17 years many their fortune seek, but at 80 it is too late a week. And yet fortune could not recompense me better than to die well, and not my master's debtor.
Adam.
Did you pack your sheets? Or will you need them where you will go? Blankets and pillowcases seem so basic when you're home.
No dear. No dear.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? This winter wind, which when it bites and blows upon my body even until I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. The elements are my counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. And this, our life exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in the trees, books in the rolling brooks, sermons in the stones, and good in everything.
Would not change it. Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Yeah, come, shall we go and kill us venison?
No, my lord. The melancholy Jacques grieves at that. And in that doth swear that you do more usurp than your brother that hath banished you. Early this morn, upon the brook that brawls along this wood, a poor sequestered stag that from the hunter's aim had tamed a hurt did come to languish. Indeed, my lord, that wretched animal heaved forth such groans that their discharge did stretch its leather coat almost to bursting, and its big round tears coursed down its innocent nose in piteous chase. The melancholy Jacques stood on the extremest verge of the brook, augmenting it with tears.
Oh, the deer! Oh, the deer! Oh, why the deer?
Oh, what said Jacques? Did he not moralize this spectacle?
Oh yes, into 1,000 similes. Being there alone, left and abandoned of his velvet friend. "'Tis right," quoth he. "Thus misery doth part the flux of company." Anon, a careless herd full of the pasture jumps along by him and never stays to greet him. "Aye," quoth Jacques. "Sweep on, you fat and greasy citizens!
'Tis just the fashion. Wherefore do you look upon that poor and broken bankrupt there? Thus he invectively pierceth through the body of country and city and court. And what of our lives? That we are mere tyrants and usurpers. Oh, and what's worse, to frighten the animals and kill them up in their native and assigned dwelling place.
And, did you leave him in this contemplation?
We did, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing deer.
All right, show me the place. Jacques! Jacques!
Jacques!
Jacques!
Oh, how weary are my spirits.
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I can almost find it in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and cry like a woman. But I must comfort the weaker vessel. Therefore, courage, Aliena.
I pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I'd rather bear with you than bear you.
Well! This is the forest of Arden.
Aye, now I'm in the forest of Arden. The more fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place.
Thou hast not loved.
It's the way to make her scorn you still.
Corin, that thou knewest how I do love her.
I partly guess, for I have loved her now.
No, Corin. Being old, thou canst not guess. Though, in thy youth, thou wast as true a lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. Ye?
Ha.
But, if thy love were ever like to mine, I'm sure I did think never man loved so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Then thou hast never loved so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that love did ever make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not sat, as I do now, wearying thy hearer in thy mistress' praise, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not broke from company, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Phoebe! Phoebe! Phoebe!
I remember when I was in love. I broke my sword upon a stone and bid him take that for coming tonight to Jane's smile. And I remember the cow's dogs that her pretty little chapped hands had milked. But as all is mortal in nature, so is all nature and love mortal in folly.
Thou speakest wiser than thou art ware of.
Hey, I shall never be ware of mine own. Wait till I should break my shins upon it.
Phoebe! Hey, Phoebe! Phoebe!
This shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine, but it grows something stale with me.
I pray you, one of you question yond man, if he for gold will give us any food. I faint almost to death.
You! Clown!
Peace, fool. He is not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
Your betters, sir.
Else are they very wretched?
Peace, I say. Good even to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir. And, to you all.
I prithee, shepherd, bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here is a young maid with trial much oppressed, and almost faints for succor.
Oh, fair sir, I pity her, and wish for her sake more than for mine own. My fortunes were more able to relieve her, but I am shepherd to another man, and my master is of churlish disposition, and little cares to find the way to heaven by doing little deeds of hospitality. Besides, his house and flocks and bounds of field are now on sale, and at our cottage now, by reason of his absence, there is nothing you will find to feed on. But what is? Come see.
We will mend thy wages. I like this place, and willingly could waste my time in it.
Buy thou the cottage, the pasture, and the flock. You shall have to pay for it of us.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. Excuse me. I will your very faithful servant be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly. Go with me. Come along.
Well, how now, Adam? No greater heart than thee? Live a little. Comfort a little. Cheer thyself a little.
Dear master, I can go no further. Here lie I down and measure out my grave.
For my sake, be comfortable. Hold that the while at arm's end. I will be here with thee presently, and if I bring thee not something to eat, I will give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor.
No, Orlando.
Come, I will bear thee to some shelter, and thou shalt not die. Come on. Up.
Duckweed! What? You look merrily.
A fool! A fool! I met a fool in the forest. Oh, miserable world. As I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun. Says very wisely, it's 10 o'clock. Thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9. And after 1 hour more, 'twill be 11. And so, from hour to hour we ripe and ripe. And then from hour to hour we rot and rot. And thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear the motley fool thus growl on the time, my lungs began to crow like morning rooster. That fool should be so deep contemplative. And I did laugh. sans intermission.
What fool is this?
Worthy fool. One that hath been a courtier. And says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it.
Hey, come on. Oh, come on.
And in his brain, which is as dry as the remaining biscuit after the voyage, he hath strange places, crammed with observations, the which events and mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool. I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Well, thou shalt have one.
It is my only request, provided that you rid your better judgment of all opinion that I am wise.
What?
I must have liberty to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. And he that a fool does very wisely hit.
Hey, come on. That's enough of that. Relax. Hey, relax.
Does very foolishly, although he's smart, seems senseless of the barb. And so, the wise man's folly is dissected, even by the random quippings of the fool. Invest me in my motley. Give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Hey, now fie on thee. Now, I can tell what thou wouldst do.
What would I do but good?
Most mischievous foul sin and chiding sin. For thou thyself hast been a libertine, as sensual as the brutish lust itself, and all the swollen sores and headed evils which thou hast caught, wouldst thou disgorge into the general world.
There then. How then? What then? Let me see wherein my tongue hath wronged the man. If it do him right, then he hath wronged himself. But if he be innocent, why then my talking like the wild goose flies?
I don't know. Come on.
Who hath killed the deer?
Oh, no deer, Jock, please. No deer.
Whoa! Forbear! Eat no more! I have eaten none yet. Forbear, I say! He dies that touches any of this food till I and my fares are answered. And you will not be answered with reason. I must die.
What would you have? Now your gentleness shall force. More than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food, and let me have it!
Sit you down and feed. You're welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently? I thought all things had been savage here. If ever you have looked on better days, if ever from your eyelids wiped a tear and know what 'tis to pity or be pitied, pardon me, I pray you.
True it is. We have seen better days. Therefore, sit you down in gentleness. Or let him feed.
Let gentleness my strong compulsion be, in the which hope I blush and hide my sword. There is an old poor man, oppressed with two weak evils, age and hunger, who after me hath many a weary step limped in pure love. Till he be first sufficed, I will not touch a bit.
Well, go find him out. Will nothing waste till your return.
I thank you, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest, we are not alone unhappy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. And then the whining schoolboy. With his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like a furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. And then the soldier. Jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, with fair round belly, with good cape and line, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The sixth age shifts.
Boring. Come on.
Okay. Into the lead and slippered pantaloon. With spectacles on nose and paunch on side, his youthful hose well saved. A world too wide for his shrunk shank. And his big manly voice turning again towards childish treble pipes and whistles in his sound.
Hey there, sweetheart. What you got there, huh? Looks like you've got some news for Grandpa.
Set down your venerable burning. Let him feed. Let him feed.
Last scene of all. That ends this strange, eventful history. His second childishness. And mere oblivion. Son's teeth, son's eyes, son's taste, son's everything.
Give us some music. Good cause. Scene.
Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude. Hi-ho, sing hi-ho unto the green holly. Most friendship is feigning, most love.
Be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. Good old man, thou art right welcome. Thou art right welcome as thy master is. Give me your hand. Let me all your fortunes understand.
Thou bitter sky, thou dost not bite so nigh as benefits forgot. Though thou the waters roar, thy sting is not so sharp as friends remembered not. Hi-ho, sing hi-ho unto the green holly. Most friendship is feigning, most loving mere folly. Hi-ho, the holly, this night is most jolly.
Not seen him since? Sir? That cannot be. Find out thy brother, wheresoe'er he is. Seek him with candle. Bring him dead, or living, or return thou no more. Thy lands, and all things that thou dost call thine worth seizure, do we seize into our hands. till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
I never loved my brother in my life!
More villain thou. Push him out of doors. Make seizure of his house and lands. Do this expediently. Get him going.
How like you this country life, Mr. Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect that it is a country life, it is not. Now, in respect that it is in the fields, it liketh me well. But in respect that it is not at court, it is tedious. Now, in respect that it is private, I like it well. But in respect that it is solitary, it is a very vile life. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more than to know the more one sickens, the worse it easy is. He that wants money, work, and content is without three good friends. Property of rain is to wet, fire to burn, good pasture makes fat sheep. Great cause of the night is lack of the sun. And he that hath learned no wit by nature nor art may complain of good breeding or comes of a very dull kindred.
A natural philosopher. Wast ever at court, shepherd?
No, truly.
No? Then thou art damned.
Nay, I hope.
No, truly, thou art damned.
For not being at court, your reason.
Why, if thou never wast at court, thou never sawest good manners. And if thou never sawest good manners, thy manners must be wicked. And wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. Thou art in a parlous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. For those that are good manners at court are as ridiculous in the country as the behavior of the country is most mockable at court. You told me you salute not at court, but you kiss your hands?
Uh-huh.
That courtesy would be uncleanly if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance! Briefly, come instance.
While we are still handling our ewes, and their coats, you know, are greasy.
Why, do not your courtiers' hands sweat? And is not the grease of a sheep as wholesome as the sweat of a man?
Sir, I am a true laborer. I earn that I eat. I get that I wear. I owe no man hate, envy no man's happiness. Glad of other man's good. Content with my harm. And the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes graze. My lambs suck.
Oh, that is another simple sin in you. To bring the ewes and the rams together and offer to get your living off the copulation of cattle? Oh.
Devil.
Hang there, my verse, in witness of my love. Oh, Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando. Carve on every tree. The fair, the chaste, the inexpressible she, Rosalind.
From the east to western Indy, no jewel is like Rosalindy. Her worth being mounted on the wind through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind but the fair of Rosalind.
If a heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosaline. If the cat will after kind, so we show will Rosaline. Sweet as nut hath sourest rind, such a nut is Rosaline.
Oh, peace, you dull fool! I found them on a tree.
Truly? The tree yields bad fruit.
Therefore, heaven, nature charged, that one body should be filled with all graces, wide and enlarged. Nature presently distilled Helen's cheek, but not her heart, Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's better part, sad Lucretia's modesty. Thus Rosalind of many parts, by heavenly counsel was devised, of many faces, eyes, and hearts, to have the touches dearest prized. Heaven would that she these gifts should have, and I to live and die her slave.
Oh!
Come, I will make an honorable retreat, though not with bag and baggage, but with scrip and scrippage.
Oh.
Audrey? Is that Audrey? Audrey! 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 Audrey!
Touchstone, hi!
And these are...
Mine? And mine.
Wait, Audrey, wait!
Didst thou hear these verses?
Aye, and more too.
But didst thou hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees? Trow you who hath done this?
Oh, is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck? Change you colour.
I prithee, who?
Oh, is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now with most petitionary vehemence. Tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful. And after that, out of all whooping.
Dost thou think, though I am comparisoned like a man, that I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? I prithee, tell me who it is, and speak apace. I would that thou couldst stammer, that thou mightest pour this concealed man out of thy mouth like wine out of a narrow-mouthed bottle. I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So, you would put a man in your belly.
Is he of God's making? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
It is young Orlando, that tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart.
Orlando!
Orlando!
What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes he here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he, and how parted he with thee? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth of this size.
But does he know that I am in this forest? And in man's apparel?
Oh,
looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
Oh, it may well be called Jove's tree, as it drops forth such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Oh, though it be a pity to see the sight, it well becomes the ground.
Cry holla to thy tongue, I prithee. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous. He comes to kill my heart.
I would sing my song without a burden. Thou bringest me out of tune.
Dost thou not know I am a woman? When I think, I must speak.
I thank thee for your company, but I had as lief have been myself alone. So had I. God be with you. Let's meet as little as we can.
Oh, I do desire we may be better strangers.
Rosalind is your love's name.
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
Well, there was no thoughts in pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You are full of pretty answers.
Well, not so, but I answer you right.
Come. Will you sit down with me, and we two rail against our mistress the world and all our misery?
I would chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
Your worst fault is to be in love.
It is a fault I would not change for your best virtues. I am weary of you. Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.
Farewell, good Senior Love.
I pray you, what is the clock?
You should ask me what time of day it is. There's no clock in the forest.
Well then, there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had that not been as proper?
By no means, sir. I'll tell you who time trots with all, and who time gallops with all, and who time stands still with all.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
Oh, marry, sir, he trots hard with the young maid between the contracting of her marriage and the day it is solemnized.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With his feet to the gallows, for though he goes as slowly as foot may fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays he still withal?
With lawyers, for they sleep between case and case, and perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
Here, in the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Your accent is something finer than could be purchased from so removed a dwelling.
Indeed, I have been told so of many, but an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak. He was in his youth a city man, and one that knew of courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I've heard him read many lectures against love, and I thank God that I am not a woman, to be touched with so many giddy offenses as he has generally taxed their whole sex withal.
What were some of the principal evils he laid to the charge of women?
There were none of them principal. They were each one alike as pennies are, each one fault seeming monstrous, until its fellow faults came to match it.
I prithee, recount some of them.
No. I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a young man haunts our forest and abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind in their barns. Hangs oaths on haythorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth deifying the name of Rosalind. I could meet this fancy mongerer, for I would give him some good counsel.
I'm he that is so love-shaked.
You have none of my uncle's marks upon you. Tell me no, a man in love, in which cage of rushes you are not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A dark eye and sunken, which you have not. A beard neglected, which you have not. Then your sleeve should be unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as appearing the lover of yourself than the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make you believe I love.
But are you so in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness. Yet, I profess curing it with counsel.
Have you ever cured any such?
Oh, yes, one. And in this manner, he was to imagine me his love, his mistress. At which time I, being but a moonish youth, would grieve, be effeminate, changeable, shallow. Would now like him, now loathe him, now entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, and then spit at him. And thus I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness. And thus I cured him.
I would not be cured, good youth.
I would cure you if you would but call me Rosalind and come every day to me and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will.
Will you?
With all of my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind.
Come apace, good Audrey. And how, Audrey, am I the man yet? Doth my simple feature content you?
Your features. Lord Warrantus, what features?
Surely I would the gods had made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest? In word and deed? Is it a true thing?
No! For the truest poetry is the most imaginative. And lovers are given to poetry. And what they do swear in poetry may be said as lovers, they do exaggerate.
Do you wish then that the gods had made me poetical?
I do, for thou swearest to me thou art honest.
Would you not have me honest?
No, unless thou art ugly, for honesty coupled with beauty is to have honey a sauce to sugar.
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods make me honest.
Really?
Yes.
To cast away honesty upon an foul slut were to put good meat into an unclean dish.
I'm not a slut. Though I thank the gods I am foul.
Well, praised be the gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter. But be that as it may, I will marry thee.
Will the gods give us joy?
Amen. A man may, if he were of a fearful heart, stagger at this attempt. But what though? Courage. If you mean to break his heart, then start
The sooner you begin, the sooner it can mend. He left himself, went to the siren of his eye, but you put him on your shelf, 'cause it's easier to collect dust than to watch a man cry.
Never talk to me. I will weep.
Do, I prithee. Yet have the grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
Have I not cause to weep?
As good cause as one would desire. Therefore weep.
Why did he swear he would come and comes not?
Nay, certainly. There is no truth in him.
Do you think so?
Yes. I think he is not a thick purse, nor a horse stealer, but for his truthfulness in love. I do think him as hollow as an empty goblet or a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love.
Yes, when he is in. But I think he is not in.
But you've heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not is.
I met the Duke, my father, in the forest yesterday. I had much conversation with him. He asked me of what parentage I was, and I said of as good as he. So he laughed and let me go. But what talk we of fathers when there are such men as Orlando?
Oh, there's a brave man. He writes brave verses, swears brave oaths, speaks brave words, and breaks them bravely.
In the forehead.
Oh. Let go. Let go. Just let go. Wait, Phoebe! Phoebe! Stop! Phoebe! Do not scorn me! Phoebe! Do not, Phoebe, say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness.
I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tellest me there is murder in mine eyes. Now I do frown on thee with all my heart, and if my eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Now show the wounds which mine eyes hath made in thee. Scratch thee but with a pin, and there remains some scar of it. But now mine eyes, which I have darted at thee, hurt thee not. Nor I am sure there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Sweet Phoebe! Sit! If ever, as that ever may be near, you met in some fresh cheek the power of love, then shall you know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come not thou near me. And when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks, pity me not, as till that time I shall not pity thee.
And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother that you insult, exalt, and all at once over the wretched? But though you have no beauty, must you therefore be proud and pitiless? No, faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. 'Tis not your inky brow, your black silk hair, your bugle eyeball, nor your cheek of cream that can entain my spirit to your worship. You, shepherd, wherefore do you follow her? Thou art 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that makes the world full of ill-favored children.
Hey,
'Tis not her glass, but you, that flatters her. But, mistress, know yourself, down on your knees, and thank heaven fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell when you can. You are not for all markets. Give the man mercy, love him, take his offer. I pray you, do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not.
Audrey, there is a youth here in the forest lays claim to you.
He hath no interest in me in the world.
Good even, Audrey.
Got you good even, William.
And good even to you, sir.
Good even, gentle friend. Cover thy head. Cover thy head! Nay, prithee, how old are you, friend?
25, sir.
Oh, a ripe age. Is thy name William?
William, sir.
Was born in the forest here?
No, sir, I thank God.
Thank God. A fair answer. Art rich?
Faith, sir. So-so.
So-so is good, very excellent good, and yet it is not. It is but so-so.
Art thou wise?
I, sir, have a pretty wit.
Do you love this maid?
Oh, I do, sir.
Then give me your hand. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this of me! To have is to have, for it is a figure of rhetoric that drink, being poured out of a cup into a glass, by emptying the one, doth fill the other. That ipse is he, but now you are not ipse, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
He, sir, that is to marry this woman! Therefore you, clown, abandon, which in the vulgar is leave the society, which in boorish is company of this female, which in the common is woman. Which together is abandon the society of this female, or clown, thou perishest. Or thy better understanding diest, I'll kill thee! Make thee away! Translate thy life into death, thy liberty into bondage. I will deal in poison with thee, in knives, in beatings. I will kill thee 150 ways! Therefore tremble and depart!
Oh, God rest you merry, sir.
I prithee, let me be better acquainted with thee.
They say you are a melancholy fellow.
'Tis so, I do like it better than laughing.
Those that are in an extremity of either are abominable fellows.
'Tis good to be sad and say nothing.
Why then, 'tis good to be a post.
I have a melancholy of mine own, compounded of many simples, extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundry contemplation of my travels, which, by often rumination, wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
Traveler, by my life you have great reason to be sad. I fear you have sold your own lands to see other men's. To see much and have nothing is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
Yes, I have gained my experience.
And your experience has made you sad. I'd rather have a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad, and to travel for it too.
I never thought love life would be so minor in its composition to change my demeanor. I'm trying to figure out if it's a one-hit wonder, if I'll be cut asunder by some singular blunder. But all it is a blooming winter trying to go forth, but this frost is a killer. Freeze me up and keep me in my line, 'cause after these two you'll be mine. And we'll be fine. All in his time. And I'm just being refined to melt this ice. And soon you'll find that this temporary frost is just the price.
Whoever loved that loved not at first sight?
Sweet Phoebe.
What sayest thou, Silvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me.
Knowest thou the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I have met him oft.
Well, think not that I love him, though I ask for him. 'Tis but a peevish boy. Yet he talks well. It is a pretty youth. Not very pretty, but sure he's proud. And yet his pride becomes him. Oh, there was a little redness in his lip, a little riper and more lusty red than that maybe in his cheek. Oh. There be some women, Silvius, had they marked him in parcels as I did, would have gone near as to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not, nor hate him not, and yet have more cause to hate him than to love him. For what had he to do to chide at me? I'll write him a very taunting letter, and thou wilt bear it from me, wilt thou, Silvius?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart.
Yeah.
I'll be bitter with him and passing short.
Yeah.
Go with me, Silvius.
Put away your pen. There'll be no promises. There's no dotted line. There'll be no place to sign. 'Cause there's just me, looking rather pitifully. And then there's you, like a sun breaking through.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
How now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while?
My dear Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love?
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Come, woo me. Woo me. For now I am in a holiday humor and like enough to consent. What would you say to me now, and I were your very, very Rosalind?
Well, I would kiss before I spoke.
Nay, you were better speak first. Then when you were stuck for a lack of matter, you might take occasion to kiss.
How, if the kiss be denied?
Well, then she puts you to entreaty, and there begins new matter. Am I not your Rosalind?
I take some joy to say you are, because I would be talking to her.
Well then, in her person I say I will not have you.
Then in mine own person I die.
The poor world is nearly 6,000 years old, and in all that time there was never any man died in his own person in a love cause. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right, Rosalind, of this mind, for I protest
Her frown might kill me.
By this hand, it will not kill a fly. Ow! 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 Orlando, stop it!
Rosalind!
Come, I will be your Rosalind in a more coming-on disposition.
Well, yeah.
Ask me what you will. I will grant it.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Yes, faith will I, Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
I am 20 such.
Whoa! What sayest thou?
You have too much of a good thing. Come, sister, you must be the priest and marry us. What do you say, sister?
I cannot say the words.
You must begin, will you?
Go to. Will you, Orlando, take to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
And I do take thee, Orlando, for my husband. Wait.
What?
Tell me how long you would have her after you had possessed her.
Forever and a day.
No, Orlando. Men are April when they woo, December when they wed. Maids are May when they are maids. The sky changes when they are wives.
Fine. For these 2 hours, Rosalind, I leave thee. I must attend the Duke at lunch. By 2 o'clock, I'll be with thee again.
2 o'clock is your hour.
You have simply misused our sex in your love prate. We must have your doublet and nose plucked over your head and show the world what a bird hath done to her own nest.
Cuz, my pretty little cuz, but thou didst know how many fathom deep I am in love. I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I'll go find a shadow and sigh until he comes.
And I'll sleep.
Ganymede! My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe did bid me give you this. I know not the contents, but as I guess by her stern brow and waspish action which she did use in writing of it, it bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but a guiltless messenger.
She says I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud and says she would not have me were men as rare as Phoenix. Well, Shepherd. Well. This is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest I know not the contents. Phoebe did write it.
I say she never did invent this letter. It's a man's invention and his hand.
Sure, it is hers!
Ow! Well, you know the contents of this letter.
So please you, for I have not heard it yet.
Read.
Art thou God to shepherd turned, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Call you this railing?
Read.
Whilst you chid me, I did love. How then might your prayers move? He that brings this love to thee, little knows this love in me. And by him seal up thy mind, whether that this youth of mine will the faithful offer take of me and all that I can make. Or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Without love, such a woman, to make thee an instrument and play false strains upon thee, not to be endured. Well, Go your way to her then, for I see love hath made thee a tame snake. And say this to her, that if she love me, I charge her to love thee, and if she will not, I will never have her, unless thou entreat for her.
Yeah.
You be a true lover, heads.
Yeah.
Good morrow, fair ones. Pray you, if you know where in the confines of this forest stands a cottage fenced about with olive trees.
Most of this place. By the murmuring stream left on your right hand brings you to the place. But at this hour the house doth keep itself, there's none within.
If that an eye may profit by a tongue, then should I know you by description. The boy is fair, of female favor, and holds himself like a ripe sister. The woman, shorter than her brother, are not you the owner of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast being asked to say that we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both, and to that youth he calls his Rosalind. He sends this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am. What are we to understand by this?
Some of my shame, if you'll know of me what man I am, and how and why and where this handkerchief was stained.
Pray you tell it.
When last the young Orlando left you, he left a promise to return within 2 hours. Lo, it befell. He cast his eye aside, and mark you what object did present itself. A wretched, ragged man, grown with hair, lay sleeping on his back. A lioness lay crouching with cat-like watching that the sleeping man should stir. This seen, Orlando did approach the man and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
I have heard him speak of that same brother, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
And well he might, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him there food to the hungry lioness?
Twice did he turn his back and purpose so to do, but kindness. Nobler ever than revenge, and nature stronger than his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, which quickly fell before him, which, hurling from miserable slumber, I awaked.
Are you his brother?
Was't you he rescued?
Was't you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
'Tis I, but 'tis not I do not shame to tell you what I was, since my conversion so sweetly tastes being the thing that I am.
But to the bloody napkin.
Here upon his arm the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled, and now he fainted, and cried in fainting upon Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some time he sent me hither, stranger as I am, that you might forgive his broken promise.
How now, Ganymede!
Oh,
Sweet Ganymede!
Many do faint when they do look at blood.
There is more in it. Cousin Ganymede. Ganymede.
Oh, he recovers.
I would I were at home. We will lead thee thither. I pray you, will you take him by the arm?
Good cheer you. Do you a man? You lack a man's heart.
Faith, sir, so do I. Prithee, tell thy brother how well I counterfeited him.
This is no counterfeit. There is too great testimony in your complexion that this was a passion of earnest.
Counterfeit, I assure you.
Come. You look paler and paler. Celia.
Celia. Oliver. Call neither the giddiness of it into question, the short acquaintance, the poverty of her, my sudden wooing, or her sudden consenting, but
Say with me, I love Aliena. Say with her that she loves me. Content with both, that we might enjoy each other. It will be to thy benefit. For all our father's house, the revenue thereof, I will impart upon thee. And here live and die shepherd.
You have my consent. Thither will I invite the Duke and all his contented followers, but go you, prepare Aliena.
It grieves me to see you wear your heart in a scarf.
It's my arm.
I thought your heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited a swoon when he showed me your handkerchief?
Aye, and greater wonders than that.
Your brother and my sister no sooner met than they looked. No sooner looked than they loved. No sooner loved than they sighed. No sooner sighed than they asked one another the reason. And no sooner knew the reason than they sought the remedy. And by these degrees have they built a pair of stairs to marriage.
They shall be married tomorrow. By so much the more shall I tomorrow be at the height of heart heaviness.
Why then tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind?
I can no longer live by thinking.
I will weary you no longer then with idle talking. Know of me that I can do strange things. If you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your bearing cries it out, then when your brother marries Aliena, shall you marry her? I know into what straits of fortune she is driven, and it is not impossible to me, if it appear not inconvenient to you, to set her before your eyes tomorrow.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life, I do. Therefore, put you in your best array, for if you will be married tomorrow, you shall enter Rosalind, if you will.
You have done me much ungentleness to shew the letter that I writ to you to him.
Do not care that I have. It is my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. You are followed by a faithful shepherd. Look on him. Love him. He worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what 'tis to love.
It is to be made of sighs and tears, and so am I for Phoebe.
So am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
It is to be made of faith and service, and so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
It is to be all made of fantasy, all made of passion, all made of wishes, all adoration, duty, observance, all humbleness, patience, and impatience, all trial, all purity, all endurance, and so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
So am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
If this be true, why blame you me to love you?
If this be true, why blame you me to love you?
If this be true, why blame you me to love you?
If this be true, why blame you me to love you?
Phoebe!
Baby! More of this! It's like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. Tomorrow, meet we all together. I will marry you, if ever I marry a woman, and I shall be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you, if ever I satisfy man, and you shall be married tomorrow. I will contend you, if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. So depart. I have given you commands.
I'll not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
They say he is here, in the forest of Arden. They say many young gentlemen flock to him every day and put themselves into voluntary exile with him. And here they live.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, that this boy can do all that he hath promised?
I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not, as those that fear they hope and know they fear.
Patience, once more, whiles our compact is verged. You say, if I bring in your Rosalind, you will bestow her on this Orlando here.
That would I, had I kingdoms to give with her.
And you say you will have her when I bring her.
That would I were I of all kingdoms king.
You say you will marry me, if I be willing.
That would I, should I die the hour after.
But if you do refuse to marry me, you will give yourself to this most faithful shepherd.
So is the bargain.
You say you will have Phoebe, if she will.
Though to have her in death, we're both one thing.
From hence go I, to make these doubts all even.
You know, I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's faith.
Oh, I confess, the first time ever I saw him, methought he was a brother to your daughter. There's sure another flood torn. These couples are coming to the ark. Here comes a pair of very strange beasts.
Today is the joyful day, Audrey. Today will we be married.
I do desire it with all my heart.
A salutation and greeting to you all. I press in here among the rest of the country copulatives to swear and forswear, according as marriage binds and blood breaks. A poor virgin, sir. An ill-favored thing, sir, but mine own. A poor humor of mine to take that which no man else will.
Oh, okay.
He's as good at anything and yet a fool.
Mr. Touchstone, Miss Audrey, and family. Miss Celia. Now is there mirth in heaven, when earthly things made even atone together. Good Duke, receive thy daughter. Heaven brought her hither, that thou mightest join her hand with his, whose heart within her bosom is. Miss Rosalind.
If there be truth in sight, you are my very Rosalind.
I'll have no husband if you be not he. I'll have no father if you be not he. Nor ne'er wed woman if you be not she.
If sight and shape be true, why then, my love, adieu? I will not eat my word, now thou art mine. Thy faith, my fancy, to thee doth combine.
Okay, Sylvius, Phoebe, You and you are heart in heart. You and you no cross shall part. And you to his love must accord, or have a woman to your lord. Yeehaw! And you and you and you are short together as the winter to foul weather. Gentlemen, repeat after me. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
To you I give myself, for I am yours.
Ladies, repeat after me. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
To you I give myself, for I am yours.
You may now kiss the bride. Oh, Monsieur LeBeau.
Let me have audience for a word or two. Duke Frederick, hearing how that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, made ready a mighty army, which were on foot, in his own conduct purposely to take his brother here and put him to the death.
No.
And to the skirts of this wild wood he came, where, meeting with an old religious man, after some question with him, was converted, both from his vendetta and from the world. His crown bequeathing to you, his banished brother. And all your lands restored to you again that are with him exiled. This to be true, I do engage my life.
Welcome, young man. Thou offerest fairly to this wedding. But first, in this forest, let us do those ends that here were well begun and well begot. And after, let every one of this happy number that hath endured sore days and nights with us share in the good of our returned fortune. Meantime, forget our new-fallen dignity and fall into our rustic revelry. Play music, ye brides and bridegrooms all, with measure heaped in joy to the measures full.
Sir, by your patience, if I heard you rightly, the Duke hath thrown into neglect the pompous court and taken on a religious life. To him will I. Out of these conversions there is much matter to be heard and learned. To you, your former honor I bequeath. Your patience and your virtue well deserve it. To you, your lands and love and great allies. To you, a love that your true faith doth merit. To you, a long and well-deserved bed. And you to wrangling for your maiden voyage. So to your pleasures, I am for other than for dancing measures.
Stay, Jacques, stay.
To see no pastime, I. What you would have, I'll look to know at some abandoned cave.
That's good.
Let's keep on dancing.
A good play needs no epilogue. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breaths that I defied not. And I'm sure as many of you as have good beards, or good faces, or sweet breaths will for my kind offer when we make curtsies bid us farewell. I love you!
Here they all sit, these broken pieces lying on the floor, destined for so much more. And this castle is shaken, and I have awakened in a civil war. So secede from me and take your cemetery that we came to be. I'll take my armies and I'll flee. South and the North will never come forth with one cause and one army. Secede from me and take your cemetery that we came to be. I'll take my army